Welcome back, everybody, to Sports People Hawaii. Ed Nishioka is the name you may not know, but chances are you've seen him in photographs, especially if you've been following the career of Marcus Mariota. He's the guy that's been by his side through some of his greatest moments.
You know, I've had a good fortune of working with a lot of NFL guys, and there's Coach Bellotti, who it all began with.
Honolulu resident Ed Nishioka didn't play college football or attend the University of Oregon, but for the past few years, he's been as well connected to the Ducks program as pretty much anybody else in the country. It all goes back to 1985, when he was partnered up with a guy at Chico State named Jeff Hawkins.
And we were on the staff of Mike Bellotti, who ends up being head coach at Oregon. So it's kind of cool that over the years, and this is now 30 years, we've been in touch. And you know, when he got to Oregon, he says, "Hey, I want you to do some projects with us and help us with some Hawaii things."
One of the first projects he got involved in was the Manning Passing Academy, a clinic every summer that brings the best high school and college quarterbacks, receivers, and running backs together with the entire Manning family.
It's kind of cool because we hang out for the whole week there. The Mannings, they live in the dorms just like us. In fact, Peyton and Eli have the same room that I have in the dorms because it's a similar setup. But you know, for 10 years, been putting on events for the kids. It's the largest football camp in America. We do 1,300 kids from 42 states. I know we're gonna have 2 kids from Hawaii this year, so it's kind of exciting. Every year I get signed jerseys. My daughter always takes my Peyton jersey, so I still have an Eli one.
Of course, none of this happened by accident. Nishioka has a background in sports marketing that dates back more than 30 years.
This year was my 20th year of doing the Pro Bowl. I've done 10 years at the Manning camp. I've worked with NFL Players Inc., the NFL alumni. So it's been kind of a long process. I never really thought I'd be doing these kind of things, but just kind of happened. You know, I end up traveling a lot since I'm based in Hawaii and everything's on the mainland. So it worked out.
Over the past 2 years, a lot of Nishioka's travel and fun has centered around one of the fastest rising stars in the land.
This was a game-used ball in the Arizona game where it was for the Cancer Week. Marcus signed it.
Hawaii's own Marcus Mariota.
It was pretty nice. The family asked me if I could travel with Marcus. He won 8 college awards, so I went to every banquet, every ceremony with him. You know, I had the best seat in the house. I got to sit next to him at a lot of the award ceremonies, but you know, just traveled with him, got to spend a lot of time with him, and you know, he's such a great person to be around and very positive, and you know, it really was exciting to have the best seat in the house at all these award ceremonies.
And adding to the excitement was the way they traveled together. Let's just say they didn't fly coach.
Yeah, we were fortunate. One of our Oregon boosters let us borrow his private jet. So I told Marcus when the first time we flew in the private jet, you know, don't get used to it because there's rich guys, there's super rich guys, and there's guys with planes.
And as much as they enjoyed traveling in style, Nishioka says it was a luxury that to some extent was a necessity. Fact is, Marcus won so many awards, it would have been impossible to meet all the obligations flying any other way.
Sometimes we did 2 award ceremonies in one day. We would fly from the East Coast to New Orleans and then back to Eugene, all in one day.
Of course, for all the award ceremonies he attended, the one Nishioka remembers most was being front and center at the granddaddy of them all, the presentation of the Heisman.
It was exciting. I mean, we didn't know that he won it till we got there, and they had the announcement that he had won it. So I mean, we thought he had won it, but there was a realization at one point when we sat in a meeting and all the representatives sat in a meeting and they said, if your guy doesn't win, then we need you to get out of the hotel the next day.
Of course, as it turned out, Marcus would hear his name called, and getting that late checkout wouldn't be a problem.
Luckily, he did win, and we got to do all the winners things, like do the banquet, and he got to do a lot of cool things. One of the cool things he got to do was, and this was on his own, he wanted to visit the 9/11 memorial. He took all of his leis that he had gotten from the ceremony and he laid it at each Hawaii person's name, and that was kind of cool.
Beyond Mariota, Ed is now working with other players who have Hawaii connections, including the Kamoeatu brothers and another Oregon Duck player who's set to make a big splash in the NFL, DeForest Buckner.
You know, DeForest is right now being projected in the top 5 in the draft. I'm going to be doing his draft party like I did Marcus's last year. People don't realize how intense doing a draft party is. There's all these media requirements and people that want to come, and you have to kind of scale down the list. But these are actually game-used helmets. They're kind of cool. I mean, when somebody says, hey, can you get me an autographed helmet? These helmets are actually $1,500, so we try to keep these for like the higher end asks for fundraisers and things like that.
That's before autograph.
Before autograph. I think it's worth a little bit more once Marcus signs it.
And back to Marcus. One of the greatest little-known stories is the fact that Ed was actually the guy who brought the Heisman Trophy back to Hawaii.
We were in Eugene, and Marcus's mom says, hey, what do you think about just carrying the Heisman home? And I said, carrying the Heisman home? It was in a big case.
Hoping to not create a scene, Ed said he just checked it in his normal baggage. But as most of us know, it's hard to keep a good secret.
It was strange because I was sitting at the gate in Eugene, and the TSA lady came to me and she said, hey, are you traveling with the Heisman Trophy? And I kind of tried to talk without moving my lips, and I said, yes, I am. And then it was funny, when I got home, it had one of those tags that said that the TSA had opened it and checked it, so I'm sure there's a few TSA agents with pictures of the Heisman.
Good stuff, and as far as a lot of that swag that he gets, the helmets, the balls, the jersey, Ed donates a lot of that to local charities that they can then auction off for their annual fundraisers. So it's a win-win for all. And stick around, everybody, when we come back, a guy who Ed works with. He is the guy that puts on the halftime show of the Pro Bowl.